Hello, this is Grandmaster Ted Gambardella, and we're going to do a series of videos on how to win any fight. Everything you need to know to win every fight you're ever in. Punches that don't fail, neck breaking, kicks that end it all, period, chokes and throws, ground finishes. Let's start with some punches that end it all, period. Now, what the purpose of this book is in this series is I'm going to show you stuff that when you do it, the person is not going to get up, they're not going to recover, they're not going to be able to continue fighting. The first is I start by blocking the left, I grab the hair, and I strike him as hard as I can with a shuto on the back of the neck. Now, folks, I don't know about you, but I have a real problem continuing to fight if I have a broken neck. And so will your opponent, so will your nemesis, so will the guy attacking you. When you do a hard shuto on the back of the guy's neck after pulling them down by holding their hair, that's it. They're through. They don't have a chance. This is a punch or a strike that will end the fight, period. Now we're going to do a straight left. Now what we're doing with this left is we're setting it up with a hard punch right between his eyes. Okay? So we're sort of putting our hand out, sort of pushing our fingers right into his face. Then we're going to follow that as soon as our fingers come back with a devastating right punch right between the eyes. Now what this is going to do, it's going to give him two gigantic black eyes. It's going to cause a huge amount of blood to pour all over, and it's simply going to end the fight. If he does continue to fight, he can't see. He'll be bleeding all over, and you've set up this one punch, and it's just going to stop it. All right, now we're going to do a left fake right cross. I'm going to throw a left fake, so I throw my hand out, and I'm throwing it really weak, and what that's going to do is he's going to come up and block it. Now when he comes up and blocks it, I'm going to grab his hand. So just by pawing my hand out, by taking my hand and sort of throwing it out there, he's going to block it. Then I just turn my wrist over. When I turn my wrist over, I'll be able to grab the back of his hand. When I grab the back of his hand, I'm going to finish him with a straight right cross right on the temple. Now, I don't know if you've ever had or read much or know anything about a temple punch, but when you punch someone directly on the temple, they tend to go into an epileptic fit, and they are not going to be able to continue to fight. You can also finish it with that punch right on the jaw, right where the ear meets the jaw. Right on the temple with your foreknuckles or right on the jaw. That too will knock him right out of that fight, and he will not be able to continue. We're going to do a left hook to the right temple. We're going to jab out with a left right into his face. Okay, when we jab out, we're going to punch him right into his face, and we're going to come up and counter with a hard right hook right into his temple. Now when I hit him again in the temple, I'm trying to emphasize here, you've never been hit in the temple in a fight if you're lucky, because if you did, you're probably not working or walking around very good. You just don't have a lot of left in you after you take a left hook right on the nose and a right cross or a right hook right on the temple. This is a double strike to the throat. This is a really unique little punch, and it's very devastating, and it's very easy to learn to do, and it's very easy to do. I'm sitting there with my arms crossed. He's coming up and mouthing off. So I'm going to simply start off, and I'm going to say, well, you really shouldn't be doing that. So I'm going to pop him right in the throat. I can do it with a open hand, with a closed fist, or I can do it with a ridge hand, or I can do it with a shuto. But I'm going to pop him right in the throat. Then I'm going to follow that with a straight right in his throat. Now when you hit him right in the throat, I'm going to tell you something, friends, it's going to kill him. It's going to crush his Adam's apple, and he is going to be in major, major problems, and he's not going to be able to continue fighting. You have won the fight. You have hurt him significantly, and he is not going to be. Now, let me tell you, this is not a punch that you should do if your life's not in danger. I mean, you're going to win this fight because you're afraid you're going to get killed or you're in imminent danger. And when I punch someone twice in the throat, it crushes his larynx. And that means he won't be able to breathe through his mouth or his nose. They will have to put a tube down his throat. And it doesn't look like there's any doctors around this room right here. So he's not going to get a tube down his throat. He's going to die. So we don't want to do that if we can avoid it. So here we're setting up a straight left right into the gut. Boom! I'm going to punch him out and punch him in the gut, but that's strictly a setup. I'm using that as a setup. I punch him out, I jam my fist right into his gut, right into the solar plexus area. Then I'm going to follow that with a hard palm heel right on the edge of his nose, right between his eyes, right in his face. I'm going to smash the palm heel right into his face. And boy, that's really going to get his attention. But this is going to get his attention a lot bit better. It's going to finish it because I'm going to drop down with the same hand or loop it down or use my left. And I'm going to do a straight punch right into his groin. Right into his groin. So I'm smashing him in the face and then punching him in the groin. Well, when you punch someone in the groin, it is not very pleasant. Believe me, they're not going to recover. So here we are. I've used this before against wrestlers. I've used this before against boxers. These guys are, come on, man, they're dancing around. They're moving around in front of me. I said, well, okay, watch this. I drop down to my left knee. I punch him right in the groin. I do another punch. Bam, 1, 2, boom, boom. Let me tell you something. This technique will cause serious damage. Serious damage. I'm going to punch him 2 times right in the groin. Boom, boom. And it's going to cause serious damage to his groin. He is in big trouble. If you punch somebody in the groin twice, they are in big trouble. Obviously, this is an illegal punch in any boxing match, any judo match, any jiu-jitsu match, any match in the world where when you're not trying to cripple the guy or hurt him, and they don't allow that in any competition. So this is a street technique when your life is in danger. Here we're going to grab his left arm. He's sitting there and he's getting ready to get against. I grab his left arm. I'm going to step up, grab his hair. I'm going to chop him on the back of the neck. So I've chopped him on the back of the neck. Then I'm going to do it one more time. So I've chopped him there, and that's going to bend him over. When you pop him on the neck one time, that's going to bend him over. Now I'm going to take my forearm, and I'm going to shuto him, smash it right down onto the back of his neck, which is really, it's just going to kill him. If you hit someone 2 times in the back of their neck with a shuto, you're going to break their neck. You're going to break their neck, which means you're going to, put them in the hospital or put them in a wheelchair for the rest of their life. So this is not a nice technique. This is not a technique you want to do unless your life is in danger. Here, I've grabbed him on the arm. I've crowded him up. He's starting to talk to me. He's raising his hand. I'm going to grab his arm, and I'm going to step in, and and here's what I want you to notice. I have stepped in so close. Look at this picture here on the right. See where my little finger is going there? I have stepped into my shoulder is all the way past his shoulder. My shoulder was way back before, so I didn't throw that far away. I stepped in. I brought my body all the way in. So many people punch from real far away. I get really close. I'm getting really close so I can just drive my elbow. Then I'm going to come right back up, bam, and drive it into the other side of his face and come back down again with another finish. So it's a left, right, left with elbows. This will cut him up. This will tear him up. This will just mess him up good. It'll end the fight. Period. Now we're going to do a drop down. I love to drop down on people because they just don't know what's getting ready to come on. I drop down and I'm going to do an elbow. Bam! Right into the ribs. Bam! I can punch him in the ribs too, but an elbow in the ribs right there, right on the floating ribs. Whoa, that hurts. Then I come back with another elbow into the floating ribs. So I go, ooh! Then I twist again and bam! With another elbow in the floating ribs. Then I'm going to finish it with a knee smash. So I've punched him in the ribs, elbowed him in the ribs, elbowed him in the ribs. Now I'm floating down and popping him right on the knee and breaking his knee. Real nice stuff. All right, this is getting to be pretty nasty stuff here because this is to win any fight. We don't want to do this unless we don't really like the guy or unless our life is in danger, folks. I'm behind him. I come up and I just smash his ears. I just pow. When you pop somebody's ears very hard with your hand, that almost kills them right there. It just creates a sonic boom inside their head. It busts their eardrums. It can do internal damage. It can cause internal bleeding. But I want to make sure that I finish him. So after I've smashed his ear, I'm going to smash my elbow right into the base of his spine. Then I'm going to finish with a double shuto right on his neck. Now, let me tell you, if you smash your elbow into the base of his spine, he pretty well is crippled. When I double shuto him right there, I've pretty well broke him all up. Here. All right, this is a nasty technique. This is a eye strike, double eye, and an elbow. So I'm going to take my 2 fingers and I'm going to smash him right into his eyes to make sure that he understands that I didn't like what he was doing and I don't want to be molested. I don't want to be killed. I don't want to be stabbed. I now follow up with my thumbs in his eye. Then I'll follow up by gouging his eyes, and then I want to finish it off. After I've yanked his eye out, I'm going to smash 2 elbows, one directly into his eyes and one into his throat. Now, this is pretty disgusting stuff here. Now, I don't want you to be alarmed here. And remember, this is not to teach people. People know how to hurt people now. I'm talking about a fight for my life. I'm going to poke him in the eyes. I'm going to gouge him in the eyes. I'm going to rip his eyes out. I'm going to smash him with 1 elbow in the eye and another elbow in the throat. I'm going to tell you what, he ain't getting up. He's not going to get pissed off and continue to fight. He's going to fall down and scream in agony. And he is going to be finished, period. So let's learn a couple of chokes and throws here. So I've stepped out to the side. I've pushed it. I'm going to come up, and I'm going to just swing my right forearm viciously right across his face and smash him right in the nose with it, or right in the throat with it. I'm going to viciously swing my forearm right across his face and smash him in the throat. Now I want you to get a good close-up here. I'm taking that and just smashing him right in the throat. And you can see me on the right here. You see my little cursor jumping and stuff. You can see me on the right here. I'm smashing him right in the throat. This pretty well kills him. If I take my forearm and smash it as hard as I can into your throat, you are in big, big trouble. Now, I'm going to do something just about as nasty. I block down. I'm going to catch it, and I'm going to take my left forearm, and I'm going to smash it all the way around his neck. I'm going to smash it all the way around his neck, and then I'm going to continue and lock my elbow around his neck. You know, and that's just really a nasty move. And then I'm going to pick him up, and I can pick him up off the ground there, and I can break his back. You know, this is just pretty nasty. When you pick them up by the neck, by their throat, pick him up, bend him over your back, you can pretty well break their back. He's already in a lot of trouble because I just smashed him in the throat. All right, now I've come around from the side. I'm going to come around from the back of the guy from the side. I'm going to smash my elbow right into his throat. Right into his throat. And now I'm going to make it real devastating. I'm going to wrap completely around his neck. I'm doing a headlock from the rear. And this, the way I'm going to finish this is pretty nasty, because I'm going to take him and I'm going to drive him all the way into the ground. Boom! Well, I don't know about you, but it's pretty hard to take a fall when someone has you wrapped around the neck, in your throat, and they're smashing you all the way on the ground and smashing your head on the ground. After I've smashed his head on the ground, I'm going to take my hand, hold his face down. He's pretty well unconscious from the fall, and I'm going to smash him right in the throat. So this is a pretty devastating, nasty technique. The name of this book is How to Win Any Fight. I didn't start this to lose or to get into a combat situation. I want to win this thing. I want to get it over with quick. I'm smashing around his neck. I'm ripping his head. You ever had someone grab your head from behind and just twist it back and forth? So I'm grabbing his head and I'm twisting it back and forth. Then I am smashing him to the ground. When I get about to there to my knee, I can let him go and just smash his head on the ground. Now, that's pretty well, he's going to knock his breath out. He's going to hit his head on the ground. It's going to cause a minor concussion. It's going to cause an awful lot of discomfort. It's going to cause an awful lot of pain, but that's not enough. Now I'm holding his head on the ground with my left hand. You see, I have my left hand holding his head on the ground, and I'm going to follow it up with a right punch my foreknuckles directly into his throat. It's going to end the fight, folks. That's the end of his thugging and mugging and murdering career. I ended the fight.